basically propagandize to the public different viewpoints or different worldviews. Because he allowed it to work for some time.
Anybody who uses the argument that if you don't like the show, you are racist or sexist, I automatically assume that you're brain dead, you have zero creativity, and you can't form any sort of argument whatsoever. So you just resort to ists and phobes because you're an idiot.
And despite absolutely likely an industry first, a TV show star has written and released a song and a music video complete with dance moves in response to racist backlash against the show.
It's a bold strategy.
I still haven't seen any racist. I mean, I'm not saying there aren't like pieces of shit that are doing that. I haven't seen any.
Do you really think a video with this in the thumbnail, making fun of the actor for claiming to be oppressed, doesn't at least have a little bit of a racist undertone? Or how Nerdrotic rolls his tongue when he says racist, as if it's a joke? This is Nerdrotic. We already know he's a proper racist. This is Nerdrotic. Most of his videos can't help but talk about the race or gender or sexuality. They complain about culture war while being the ones to fuel and profit from it. Then Star Wars Theory has the gall to say he can't find bigotry, while watching one of the most bigoted creators on the platform.
I just see people talking about how shitty the show is and how bad her acting is. I don't see any of the other garbage out there. When are we going to get to the point where our voices and our criticisms aren't just thrown under the bus and labeled with ists and phobes over? Be like, don't uncover this. These are just ists and phobes. It's like, what the fuck, dude? No, we're literally we're allowed to have our own opinions. We don't have to just blindly love. I don't know. It's so weird. And it's like, it's only like a small sect of the fandom who is like so unbelievably angry if you have any other opinion than spoon-feeding this garbage show or any garbage show that is just so poorly made and shits on the face of George.
If the show is so garbage, you'd think he'd be able to come up with a critique more valid than "this contradicts Legends." What's ironic is that he's using Legends information to say that the Acolyte shits on George, when George didn't make the guidebooks, comics, or trading cards. Or even more ironic, complaining about his arguments being swept under a rug of ists and phobes, while he does the exact same thing to people with the opposite opinion. Just instead of calling them bigots, he calls them shills.
And what he's created. And you're supposed to sit there and like it and be like, the internet is a place for positivity. No, it's fucking not. It's a place where you're supposed to be able to talk about what you think without having a gag order, the possible fear that you'll be ostracized for your opinions. My God, like it's not a bad look for Star Wars. That's just people in power at Star Wars trying to take advantage of a few bad apples who are racists and bigots and homophobes. And they want to take that brush of like what? Not even 1% of Star Wars fans. And they want to say, oh, you know what? Let's just brush all.
Anybody who uses the argument that if you don't like the show, you are racist or sexist, I automatically assume that you're brain dead, you have zero creativity, and you can't form any sort of argument whatsoever. So you just resort to ists and phobes because you're an idiot.
You know there's over 1 billion Star Wars, this is a consensus, they've done this, over 1 billion Star Wars fans in the world. That's 1/8 of the population. So they take what? How many of those 1 billion do you think are like truly, outwardly racist, sexist, bigots? Yeah, I'd be surprised if it's 1%, but let's say 2%. Let's say 2% at most. You take that 2% number, what, 1 billion, what's 2% of 1 billion? 20 million?
This is like what the interviewer said in that interview. That nerds are threatened by gay stuff. It's like, well, man, I was never threatened by anything gay. Gay people are just gay people, dude. That's just who they choose to love. Like, why is that my business? I don't care. I don't care. Nerds just want cool shit. We just want cool stories. We also don't need your sexual preference shoved in our face nonstop. I don't care. Oh, I just don't think it matters. I really don't. Am I wrong for saying that? Am I wrong for saying that someone's sexual preference doesn't? I don't care if you're straight. I don't care if you're gay. Like, just tell me a good story. I don't care. I don't care.
Mundi, who wasn't supposed to be born at this time and
you don't understand the lore, don't talk.
Till, of course, Disney.
I think that if you go back, there's probably already been a number of things in Star Wars that have been retconned ever since the first movie came out. So it's not really that big of a deal.
No, this is a pretty big deal, man. You don't understand the gravitas to how big of a deal this actually is. And the things that have been retconned in Star Wars, there was nothing that was retconned in the first 6 films. George created them.
No, I am your father.
You don't know everything about women yet. It's not like that at all. He's my brother.
You might argue that, well, these still fit in the story, but that doesn't change that they're still retcons. There are definitely more retcons not pictured. Or you might say that some of those were retcons from legends. So was Ki-Adi Mundi's age.
You don't understand the lore, don't talk.
But retconned with Disney, yeah, for sure. I mean, look at who retconned it.
At a certain point, it's like one more fucking thing, right?
Oh, yeah, but this is a big thing. This is a huge thing. I mean, the dude who literally plays stupid.
Plays stupid? So you're saying that he knew the Sith were active and acted like he didn't? Get your story straight.
Like, I don't believe you. You just fought, like, literally the Jedi Master.
You don't understand the lore, don't talk.
From the same continuity where Theory is getting Mundi's age from, Mundi was a knight in the scene he's referring to here. You can't have it both ways. Either Lucas made a huge retcon saying Anakin was the first non-Master Council member, or this extra Mundi lore was never canon, obviously.
Ending before the council saying like, hey, I literally just fought a Sith, what I believe is a Sith. He's red lightsaber, he was trained in the Jedi arts, and he had a red lightsaber. He was trying to kill me.
Newsflash. A person with a red lightsaber and dark force abilities is not automatically a Sith. Let's say Mundi finds out about Chimere, and Chimere isn't actually a Sith. That would make him more skeptical of Qui-Gon's claim.
If you don't understand the lore, don't talk.
You just almost ran over the kid. I mean, like, and then the dude's like, oh, that's impossible. I don't believe you. We haven't seen one of those in 1,000 years. There has been a time of peace for it's literally been a time of peace for 1,000 years, dude. There hasn't been any Jedi dying or hookup. Acolytes are such.
Least of this scene's
Both legends and canon continuities have small conflicts occurring during the Great Peace. It is referring to the relative time of peace, where the Republic is not at war on a galactic scale. There was death and there were hiccups, as you can see.
If you don't understand the lore, don't talk.
Holy crap, they're actually changing it in real time. Hey, Wikipedia just changed their shit right now in real time? Quick! They are quick!
That's how they operate, you fucking moron. It's nothing new.
with like no reason whatsoever, just because the show says so, and like changes everything like that.
His entire basis for this argument is that George wrote him as such, and yet he cannot seem to find a single canon mention of his age. Throughout the whole drama on Twitter, all he could find was this one trading card from 2003.
George 100% did not intentionally write him with the age in mind. He's not even a character in the films. George definitely didn't make this card either. Star Wars theory tries to make it look like George cemented his age, but he did not. Then Star Wars theory covers his ass by saying that's not even his main point. He knows he's wrong about the age being canon.
What was pre-established, they had what they had written for however many years, and then they just, boom, like that, change it.
Any birth date that was present before Acolyte Episode 4 was simply there due to an assumed knowledge based on Legends information. Now, when a canon project contradicts Legends information, that means the Legends info is not canon. As I showed in another part of the video, George has gone over EU content in the past. But theory has a double standard. It's okay for George, not for anyone else. There's a few possible interpretations here. 1. He does care, but he is too scared to insult GL in front of his fans. 2. He has no problem with retcons, and he's just playing into the toxic hate against the Acolyte. 3. He actually thinks there's some kind of magical difference when GL does a retcon compared to another writer.
A show that really makes no sense and has no business putting Kiadi in there. So now, I guess because I'm making good arguments,
They have a few psychos, a few assholes that are going around sending them death threats. And now their audience and they themselves
I'm purporting that I am the one sending these threats. It is me, my responsibility, my fan base, my people. And I made a statement on X, on Twitter, that is erroneous, that is ridiculous. How many times do I have to make videos where I denounce this kind of behavior? I mean, if we're going to start measuring death threats, I think I take the frickin' prize for that one.
The difference here is that the death threats against SWT are the result of his own actions, while Wikipedia wouldn't be getting death threats if it weren't for him.
I think I take the amount of abuse that these people send me is insane. That's gonna be this is, the all they had. Funny enough, ironic, a thread. They had a thread to hang off of. It's not a Sith. It could be a dark Jedi. Well, what are you gonna say now? It's literally a Sith. It's literally a Sith.
literally a Sith.
Literally tells him as he's a Sith. Literally tells him as he's a Sith.
Literally tells him he's a Sith.
Literally tells him as he's a Sith.
What are you?
I have no name. But a Jedi like you might call me Sith.
Referring to the Jedi specifically to how they understand the Force. Like SWT, the Jedi would believe that anyone using the dark side and a red lightsaber is a Sith, because they are close-minded and don't know about every aspect of the Force. Therefore, it is a fair interpretation that he is not calling himself a Sith, but rather saying that the Jedi do not have a name for what he is. This is further illustrated in his next line, where he states he wants freedom. The Sith is still an order. He could be wanting freedom from any order.
What do you want?
Freedom.
If you don't understand,
Basic reading comprehension.
don't talk.
In relation to SWT calling May's arc wishy-washy in episode 5, I'll clear it up for him real fast. May wants retribution for what happened to her sister. She becomes an acolyte. She finds out her sister, her reason for this mission, is still alive. She knows she's not cut out for this, so decides to defect and seek protection with the Jedi. She finds out that her master is there to kill her. She has to run. She knows the Jedi can't win, so she runs.
If you don't understand,
Basic reading comprehension.
don't talk.
And I think that people get really tired of not being able to say things. I think this is just an issue in general. Like,
You know, I think we live in an age where nobody really has creativity, yet everyone wants to really be successful. Everyone wants to be an influencer. Everyone wants to have a YouTube channel. But no one is creative or imaginative or has any actual talent.
His entire brand is based off a big IP that he did not create. His merch uses characters he did not create. His lightsaber company profits off of designs he did not create. 80% of his content nowadays is reaction slop. Where is his creativity that he's insinuating he has? The fan film he's making? Based on IP yet again. He has no creativity, he relies on other people to keep his brand afloat.
It's not like you really offer anything. It's not like you really offer anything creative or interesting or no real talent whatsoever. So it's like you kind of just are stuck in this cycle of repeating the shillness in order to stand out because you really have no other way of saying, hey, I'm here through creativity or talent.
Truly ironic that this entire statement applies to him. But instead of shilling to a big company, he is stuck in a cycle of reacting and hating. If he moves to original content, he will lose everything, essentially shilling to his own fan base.
There was some guy that said he wanted to watch a public beheading of me and sell popcorn. There's another guy saying that I should be killed. Simply because, and I have never said anything to anyone. I simply talk about Star Wars and I simply say, I don't like this because of this and that. And I have never said anything to anyone.
And I've never said anything to anyone. And I've never said anything to anyone.
Anybody
who uses the argument that if you don't like the show, you are racist or sexist, I automatically assume that you're brain dead, you have zero creativity, and you can't form any sort of argument whatsoever. So you just resort to ists and phobes because you're an idiot. And it's quite absolutely.
And I've never said anything to anyone.
Black people in the show is a bad look for Star Wars.